I didn't expect there to be that many issues. But you know what? Whatever, it's fine. You know, they are the experts. I am not. They are running a successful TV channel. I am an amateur streamer who just like talks about stuff and is wrong. So we are going to see Last coming out to play the first StarCraft 2 match for STX. He is a Terran player. He was one of the top players on the team last season. Had a really good record, and basically Last actually at the beginning of last season, he was looking really scary. I think he had a 6 or 7 game win streak at the beginning of the season. He was like 6-0 at one point, and then that finally got broken. But yeah, he was basically like racing with Flash to see who would be undefeated for the longest. I mean, of course, Flash is never going to lose that kind of that race, but yeah, he was pretty scary. He had like ridiculously good TVT and TVP. His TVZ was a little bit weaker, but still very, very good. Anyway, it's going to be a TVT here. Last versus Reality in the first set. Of course, Reality we saw is pretty good at StarCraft 2 as well. He actually won the he won the StarCraft 2 Ace match for Khan when they played against who did they play against? Stars? I think it was against Stars. Yes, it was against Stars. Yeah, he played against Free in the Ace match, and he actually bunker rushed him, which is quite funny. Not bunker rush, I should say. I should say he like did a bit by bit. He SCV Marine all into him on Ohana, which was hilarious. Anyway, the red Terran on the left side will be Last for STX, and the blue Terran on the right will be Reality for Samsung Khan. So, looks like we are on Antigua Shipyard, and you know, I actually do quite enjoy watching these Brewdor guys play TVT. You know, even though some people are like, it's a mirror matchup, it's not so good. I think of all the mirrors in SE2, I think I do enjoy TVT the most, just because you can have like, I enjoy seeing like the dynamics between different styles. I mean, we saw a really cool game between between Light and Turn, where it was like pure bio versus pure mech, and then we saw Fantasy versus somebody I can't remember. Fantasy versus somebody, where it was like a ridiculously back and forth game, where both players like basically like the SCV counts were just swinging drastically in favor of one player or another, just like, you know, 4 or 5 times in the game. It was, you know, the person in the lead changed, so that was a pretty interesting game. And some Brendan suggesting I put positions on the overlay. That is an excellent idea. Alright, so Last is T9, Reality is T3. Perfect. Anyway, so let us see. Are they going to go bio? Are they going to go mech? Are they just going to go the standard marine tank shenanigans, rather? It's like Barracks now finished. Interestingly, no wall-in for Reality, whereas Last has gone for his wall-in. And not going to complete before the SCV gets into his base, though. So Last is going to get in there. He's going to see neither gas is being taken yet. So I'm both of them just going to go for the 1 rack expand. Pretty standard stuff. It looks like Reality is a little bit faster here. Now, it's possible that this is because since he didn't build his wall, he had slightly more minerals than his opponent. Of course, you know, if you don't send building your wall at your front at the top of your ramp means that you have to move your SCV, you know, away from the mineral line and then go build it over there, as opposed to if you just make your depot here, like right next to the mineral line, you lose a little bit less mining time. And while it doesn't seem like that much, because you're at such an early stage of the game where you don't actually have that much mining anyway, it actually does make small differences like this, where you get your command center a few seconds earlier than your opponent. But it's not going to be a big deal. It's not going to be a game changer here. And getting that wall, of course, does make you safe against you know, Hellion run bys or anything like that. Anyway, it looks like what is this? What is this? A third command center, 1 rack's double command center for Last. Oh my! This is like what Flash did against Everett. He's just like, let me build as many command centers as I can until I die, and then he died. but still, it was good. It was cool. So last is going for a super macro game. Now I'm actually curious, is he actually going to float this to his third, or is he just going to like leave it in his base and use it for mules and scans? It seems like a bit of a big investment just to get a couple of extra mules. So I think he's just building it there to kind of keep it hidden, and then he's gonna float it out eventually. But that's gonna be very interesting. I mean, what's his face? Reality is doing a lot more standard thing. He's just added on a couple more barracks here, and he's gonna start putting on some marine pressure. So I mean, you know, realistically, I don't even think that Last will be able to float out to his third, even if he wanted to. So he's just gonna have to, you know, leave it in his main for a little while, get a couple of extra mules. But let's see what he does here. And of course, he can also produce SCVs from that. So you know, saturate his natural a little bit more quickly. But yeah, I'm just curious, like, because you know he's gonna be down on army for a little while here, and he's not gonna have that much of an income boost over reality. I mean, obviously, the extra mules do help, the extra SCVs do help, but it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be difficult for him to move out for quite a while. Meanwhile, it looks like oh no, sorry, I thought those were tech labs. No, it is just double reactor, very standard. So I'm fairly certain that that reality is going for marine tech. He hasn't built a factory yet, but he's getting those double reactors. Just has that one tech lab in order to get those upgrades like stim and combat shields. Looks like he's not quite mining a second gas yet. He might have forgotten, but he's actually going for a very quick third as well. Wow, it looks like both these players going for some serious macro mode here. Although I think I do like Reality's version of this better, because he's also keeping his marines on this map, kind of taking map control and expanding very quickly. So his third is probably actually going to be finished there, and he's going to be able to start mining from it before Last is going to be able to mine from his. But of course, Last Command Center is going to be finished sooner, so he's going to have that faster income boost from the mules and the extra SCVs. Meanwhile, there's the factory for Reality. That sounds a bit interesting. Factory for Reality. Anyway, and there's a factory for Last as well. For Last as well. Reality, by the way, looks like he's actually already halfway through +1 weapons on his for his marines. Whereas I don't think there's an engineering bay up yet for Last, so he's going to be quite a bit behind on the upgrades actually, which does play a big part. Of course, you know, marines with their low damage per shot, high rate of fire, benefit hugely from these fast upgrades. And if it doesn't end up being, you know, these marine tank versus marine tank battles, that's going to be really nice for Reality. Meanwhile, a bunch of barracks being added on in the main base, or in the natural rather. It's very interesting. I mean, Last is actually placing most of his infrastructure either in his natural or kind of between his main and his natural, whereas, well, I mean, you know, Reality's doing something similar, but he's placing most of his buildings in his main base rather than at his natural. I do like I do like that by Last, to place most of your buildings there, because, you know, if you get dropped in your main base, most of your infrastructure is actually at your natural, so it's a little bit easier to defend, because you don't have to go all the way back into your main to help out. So I do think that will, you know, protect his infrastructure, you know, especially when with Terran players loving to snipe those add-ons when they drop. So, you know, even though it's not likely that you can snipe a bunch of barracks or factories or whatever, because they do have pretty high HP, you can definitely pick off a lot of add-ons, and just making those in the natural helps to prevent that kind of thing. In the meantime, looks like a SCV for Reality going to go over here to the third, not going to see anything. The command center actually, or the orbital, just floating out now. It's so funny. Do StarCraft 2 players mind if I just call that a command center rather than an orbital? I'm just so used to saying the command center is floating out. I mean, it is a command center, but I don't know. If anybody's being nitpicky about that, they might be like, no, it's actually an orbital command. It's not a normal command center. Haha. Anyway, double engineering base actually now for Last, so he's actually going to catch up in the upgrades by going for double upgrades. Meanwhile, +1 armor is actually halfway done now for Reality. +1 attack already finished, of course. In the meantime, SCV checking out the top main base. I think he's just checking for any hidden expos. Might even, or no, he's actually building a either a depot or a turret. Actually, I'm not sure what that is. Kind of at the top left main there, just to spot any drops moving into his third. Meanwhile, a sensor tower is already up in the main base of Last, as you can see there on the mini map, giving him good vision of any drops that might go into his main base. I really like that. especially with his third base up. He's probably gonna, you know, kind of keep his army, or rather he is keeping his army kind of in between his natural and his third, just to keep those defended. So if any drops do start approaching his main, you can immediately see that and move his units back. Meanwhile, Last is actually... Wait, what happened to that drop? I thought a drop went out. Did we miss it? Was there a drop on the stream? Or, sorry, was there a drop on the screen that I just, like, did not see because I was spacing out or something? Wait, what? I could have sworn that Last sent out a medevac with 8 Marines, but it might have gotten sniped or something. Or maybe he just brought it back. Anyway, it looks like 1-1's finished, so he's deciding to move out right now. I think 1-1 should be finished. Yeah, 1-1 finished on both sides. So even though Reality started his upgrades faster, Last has managed to catch up with those 2 engineering bays. And it looks like... Oh, are we going to have a big engagement here? I don't really think Last should be attacking here, but those tanks are not sieged. Is Siege 1 not finished yet? The tanks are unsieged. It looks like Siege 1 is probably not finished yet. The tanks are going to be not very useful here. Oh my goodness, a huge Marine on Marine engagement here. It looks like Last has a little bit more, but there will be Defender's advantage for Reality, but it looks like, is it going to matter? Oh my goodness. Reality actually ending up with a lot of, or sorry, Last rather ending up with a lot of extra Marines. Siege mode was not done yet. And he snipes the tech lab that was spinning. He snipes the siege mode. There's going to be no siege mode for Reality. Reality in a lot of trouble here. Last hitting a sick timing here, seconds before siege mode is done, and I think that could just be GG instantly here. The super greedy build of Last actually working out. Looks like there was a counterattack, probably a drop there in the third base, but that's going to get cleaned up by the SCVs. So many Marines here at the natural. Manor Mule coming down. A Manor Mule, get out of my game. It is over, dropping another one. Please leave the game, good sir. Please depart from the game. GG! And Last takes game number 1 in spectacular fashion there. Oh man, that timing. Reality's like, oh, why can't I chrono boost? I could have just chrono boosted my siege mode. So that's that. That is that. Alright. Wait, that was game 2? I'm sorry, that was game 2. Whoops. I forgot to change the score. So yeah. So my apologies. STX has taken the StarCraft 2 series set 2-0, so that means we will be going to an ace match with Deer and Last taking it for their teams. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to update the overlay after game number 1 because I am a terrible person, a terrible streamer. Oh my god, please don't hate me. So yeah.